players. I love, so stream, you can't hear the players right now, but I can. And what I love is that hearing players talk about, you know, like different card games that they play, kind of like the whole, you know, experience of being players in the game, making friends. So love to hear it. Love to hear the banter. All right, and we got a popsicle in play, got the draw. Yeah, new Anna, Vaughn's, I think, playing with some spicy picks in this color combo. Yeah, we're gonna pop the popsicle and play the bell for free. They banished Fortisphere, all for that. But okay, so this is that kind of advantage of playing Bell. You have a 3/3 body out already. But what this does mean is Corey gets to the ramp first. So he's going to be heading into his turn 3 with 4 ink in the inkwell. Let's see what Vaughn can do here. So be curious to know what his turn 2 is. Likely going to go try to ramp, right? And yep, sail. So he'll get to do the draw, put an additional card in his inkwell this turn. And that is the trade-off to Tipo, where Tipo, you know, is going to put a body out there for you, but that card's going to be exerted in your inkwell. Versus the sail, you get to draw, and that card is going to be readied for you. So Vaughn sings Friends on the Other Side, draws his 2 cards, pass the turn, chooses not to quest, which I think in this case is gonna make sense for him as he's searching. He's trying to fill his hand up so he's got lots of options to deal with the threats that Corey's gonna put out on the board. All right, 4 for the sail, or excuse me, sail, how far I'll go, ramp and put a card in hand. And pass the turn. And you know Vaughn, he's thinking, all right, what's he got in his hand that's coming? When we get to 6 ink, you kind of activate Ruby Sapphire. All right, plays the genie. Vaughn did quest for 1 with the bell.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh.
Thanks very much.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, Nick.
Awesome. Do you play Magic?
I do.
I was like, I thought I saw you unplugged once.
Yeah, I definitely play Magic.
So you're aware of what we do here?
Oh, yeah.
All right, another popsicle, gets to draw the card.
No, this is, we thought it was great. This is a great place for us to host this.
Oh, yeah.
Ink develop.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I don't know how much.
Here's 5 for the Hero to All. Hero to All is going to take out the bell. 3 damage. Corey does choose to pop both popsicles.
Oh, okay.
Take out all that damage on Maui. I'm going to guess Corey's got potentially a Tamatoa in hand to get those 2 popsicles back. Or he could be worried too about, well, Genie is a 2/4, so he does just have to play the crab to take him out, but he's losing that 2 lore to do so. Yep, there's quest for 2 from Vaughn. Goes to 3. Play the popsicle, draw the card. And it looks like, is that a Pinocchio? The new Pinocchio. So I can't remember what that Pinocchio does. He's thinking. All right, so he plays the sail. Doesn't have the options that I was thinking he was looking for, but does drop a McDuck Manor. All right, pass back over to Vaughn. So I'm trying to pull up what the new Pinocchio does here. Gotta learn these new cards, Raina Jafar. I was mentioning earlier to Brandon, you know, haven't really played a lot of the new set, And as a Steel Song player, once we get out of my 2 colors, I start to lose what the the abilities are. So that Pinocchio, evasive, and then once during your turn, whenever you ready this character, you may draw a card. And Vaughn plays his Tamatoa. So he gets back those 2 popsicles. Yeah, quest for, he quests for 4.
4. Oh,
Yep.
that Pinocchio's too.
Yeah, Pinocchio quests for 2. All right, and joining me now is Danny Tripodi, co-owner of the Upside here. Welcome
Hey.
in, Danny.
How's it going, buddy?
We're hanging out. We're playing some Lorcana.
This is the first
And
I've
there's a
sat
B-prep.
down. Oh, nice. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, so Danny, I think to help with the listeners here,
Yeah.
Brandon and I were talking over one another a little bit. I'll try to do some play-by-play since I can hear what the players are doing.
Yeah.
And if you want to provide some color commentary, I guess, that way we
Absolutely.
won't talk over one another. So we've got Vaughn thinking about what he's going to do here. You know, I think you're worried as the player against Ruby Sapphire what's going to come the next turn. You don't want to put too much out on the board that can get taken out. But Vaughn drops the Iago and passes turn.
Yeah, you know, as a Blurple player going up against red-blue, I feel like you don't want to overcommit to the board because, I mean, that was the first B prep. How many B preps could he be running? There's the Hades.
And Corey gets 2 lore off of the McDuck mana for turn. Yeah, it goes to your Inkwell.
Yep.
Yeah. Vaughn was just asking for clarification about that. And that did confuse me too when we first saw Illusions, because
Yeah.
it says action. I thought that meant any action,
Right.
not specifically the card type action. So pass back over to Vaughn now, and again, he's got an empty board, lots of cards in hand, but you're looking at 4 lore across the table from you right now next turn. What does Vaughn do here?
If I'm Vaughn, I'm thinking, how can I get rid of that McDuck Manor? You know?
Yeah, you just drop a big old monstro on the board with Rush,
Yeah, because
and that'll do it.
seriously, that is your first. It's a ticking time bomb. If you let those stack up, that's an easy way to win. Now Monstro, he's big, right?
He's a big boy. But it doesn't matter when you
Yeah,
just
Hades
put
doesn't care
another
about
ink
that.
in the inkwell. And Corey goes ahead, quests for 2. But at least for Vaughn, you know, he did take out the McDuck Manor, right?
Yeah.
So now he doesn't have that constant threat on the board, and you can deal with 6 willpower.
Absolutely.
You know, that's a crab, a fox,
It's just a matter of if he has a
or his
a
own
Hades of his
Hades.
own. All right, that evens the playing field now.
Love seeing the Sapphire into Sapphire matchup.
Yes. Whose inkwell will be bigger?
And, you know, they'll give a run for each other's money when it comes to hand size there, too, you know. Well, we did lose Hiram for the draw power in Sapphire, so I think Amethyst definitely takes the cut there, but you can still have a lot of cards in her hand, Ruby Sapphire.
Absolutely.
Corey's, he's thinking. He's trying to figure this out, too, because he's in a precarious spot at this moment. If he, oops, as I throw my phone. If he doesn't have his threats now, things to gain more, because we know that Vaughn can fill up his board. And we drop a Super Goof and another McDuck Manor. Corey quests for 2, goes to 6, passes the turn. Danny, I do have to say, I like Corey's deck. He's definitely blinged out the Ruby
really?
Sapphire. We've got several Enchanteds here.
He was talking before the match. He was asking Vaughn how far he traveled. Vaughn was like, "Oh, I'm 2 minutes away from here," and Corey was like, "Oh, I came from 2 hours out of the way today." So it's cool to see that he's
Wow.
kind of forcing Vaughn to take out the McDuck Manors.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice because now he can kind of get some extra lore to make up with Super Goof. That Monstro is threatening. If Corey doesn't have a removal, he's a big boy to be on the board.
Well,
He's
a
gonna dig.
vision, he'll dig for something, and that's going to pull out any number of threats now to the other side of the board. It could be a B prep, could be Lady Tremaine, Could be another Hades potentially, anything to remove something from that board.
Looking ahead, I saw Vaughn was shuffling his hand a bit. It looks like he's got a Friends. He's got another Hades in hand. So he does have some resources to help combat against whatever Corey's going to throw out. It looks like he didn't find what he was
No.
looking for, though.
Yeah, he has to play the Grammatala to dig even deeper.
This is what makes Ruby Sapphire so strong, though. Being able to dig through your deck and search for the cards that you need at the right moment. That's why it's the top control deck the past, what, 4, 5 sets?
Yeah, no, I would say even since Dime came out, where
Yeah.
it kind of brought players to a more like late game, I'm going to gain all the lore, Super Goof is going to sing how
He's
far I'll
still
go.
digging.
I'd be curious. I could pull up Corey's list here to see how many B preps he's running.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because if I'm Corey, you have a control of the board right now. He's gone through 2 McDuck Manors. He's probably looking for that B prep wipe.
Yeah, and so we're going to get a quest for 2 out of the Hades, and is that a pass turn to Vaughn? Yep, he's readying his ink, readying his characters. Let's see what comes next. Oh yeah, look at that hand
Yeah,
there.
Genie, Hades, Friends, and I can't tell what that other one, maybe an Elsa, a big Elsa, it appears. So he's got some options. I think in this scenario, I'm going to, play the Genie, draw a card, see what's going on.
It looks like a sail.
Oh, that's a great card to deck, to pull. Monstro, how big is Monstro?
He's a
6.
big boy. Big boy. Let's see, what is
Wow.
the Monstro? Taking some damage. That Monstro is a 6/8, yeah.
Yeah. So Vaughn has cleared the board, which I think Corey was prepared for that. That's why he was digging so much. The question is, does he have the B prep? After going down 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9 cards through his deck.
Yeah, he
last
would have
turn.
had to have gotten it off the grandma or here with the top deck, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm Corey, I'm scared. Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared.
I'm in danger.
Yeah.
But love
either
to see this
questing
out
or
of
singing.
Blurple.
Oh, he's trading the Monstro. Yeah,
Trades in the
Blurple really
Monstro.
is showing up. Ruby Sapphire. Honestly, this might be a tough matchup if you don't see your removal.
Well, I think that's always, the Ruby Sapphire downfall. If you don't see your removal in the late game when you need it,
Yep.
or that early game, you miss out on your ramp.
Absolutely. And I think, judging by the Super Goofs, this is probably the DKP build. So there isn't a lot of late game threats other than the Be Prepared. Like there's no Medusa, there's no Tremaine. So there's not a lot of ways that he can remove the Genie and the Hades.
Von Quest for 4 there. And plays, is that the library?
Yeah, the library, a gift for Bell.
Yeah. Not as threatening as the McDuck Manor, but that one lore can really help you. And the new blue fairy, interesting.
Not only the lore game, but also the draws that Vaughn's gonna get off of that.
Yeah, the moment he B-preps that board.
Yeah, he's drawing 3.
So interesting, the blue fairy, 2/2, evasive, but also has support. And support's one of those mechanics we don't really see often, but doesn't matter because we're gonna take out that library with the Maui Hero to All and Grammatala.
Excellent top deck if he topped it. Because what else do you do in that scenario?
Yeah, you feel like you're really far behind at this point. And I mean, with 5 lore on the board, we're 2 turns away from winning.
Oh yeah.
Right?
If I'm Vaughn, I think I commit to the Elsa.
Big
He's got
Elsa?
the big Elsa. Lock down Maui and Grandma so they can't sing or do anything, and just quest out and really tell your opponent, if you don't have Pirate's Life or B prep, I'm gonna
Game
win
over.
next turn. Yeah.
No, for sure.
I don't know how big Corey's hand is though. So that could also be a deciding factor for
Quest for
Vaughn.
1.
There's definitely some math going on. Corey's looking at his board, looking at Vaughn's field.
You'd have to think though with, takes out the Grammatala. instead. But heals some of the damage off. That's a quest for 2 with the genie, going to 14. So a little more conservative.
Yeah, definitely conservative. I think he's going to go for the Hades, though. He's preserving some of his ink. Getting that library, he might switch out to play it, thinking, yep, for the be prepared next turn. He's playing it safe.
Exactly.
Which is not a bad thing.
Well, and this is game 1, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, Vaughn's still trying to figure out what he's playing against in these early hands, and then passing the turn now to Corey. Precarious spot to be in as the Ruby Sapphire player right now.
It's tough. Unless he has a super goof up his sleeve. So that's 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that would be enough to take out the library. Otherwise, he has to answer with a be prepared and get this board in check.
Big Sisu. Okay.
It's going to take out the blue fairy
And Genie. So
yeah.
Vaughn will get to draw 2 cards off of that if he so chooses.
Not optimal, but it does check his board.
Yeah. And passes the turn back to Vaughn. No cards on the field at this point, but has a lot of things in hand. And you know you're thinking as Vaughn at this point that he doesn't have the answers, right? Or else he would have played those. He didn't have the B prep. So, you know, you could risk it. You could lay out cards. I'll be curious to see what he does next here. So Hades comes out. We're going to put that Sisu into the inkwell.
I was going to say next turn that library's gone, but now Hades changes that, luckily, for Vaughn.
We got to give a lore to Vaughn. Can we get the trigger with the...
Is that Honey Marin?
No, that's the new Pinocchio.
Oh, no strings attached, right?
So there it is.
Strings on me.
We've got 15 lore on the board, or excuse me, 5 lore on the board for Vaughn. If he can make it to the next turn, he wins. What does Corey do here? 2 for the vision. Oh my God. You'd think 5 cards down, it's got to be there. And he's thinking about that. So it wasn't a quick, I found my B prep. So
yeah.
I don't know how good of a poker player Corey is.
Right. Usually the telltale sign is, I'm just going to quest out.
Yeah.
And, well, I guess you can't with Maui, but...
You'll run very quickly into that library. You want to put that 6 damage on it.
There's definitely some thought going on in Corey's head.
Okay, brawl away.
Ooh.
Takes out the threat of an evasive that quests for 2. But still, that's 3 lore next turn, bringing you to 18. Tough spot to be in.
Vaughn, Corey is in a really tough spot. Vaughn has him in a corner right now. Being at 15, he has to ink the Pirate's Life.
Feels bad.
Yeah, you don't want to see that.
Oh, so he inks it to play it. Yep. So Corey's going to gain 2 lore, and Vaughn's going to lose 2 lore.
And then Maui attacks the library.
Yep. Put that damage on.
That is brutal. And
So gains 1 lore, Vaughn, from the library.
It looks like Corey has 2 cards in hand. I'm assuming those cards have to be uninkable because unless there's something better in his hand, you really, in this spot, you don't want to ink your Pirate's Lives.
Yeah, and I want to say this happened last match because we saw Corey play twice now.
Yeah.
He had ink early on one of his Pirate's Life, and you hate to see that because you know later on that's something you're going to want to see to cycle through with your Maui Half Shark. But the big Elsa comes out into play, locks down the Maui, drops another library. That's match point on the board yet again.
That might be the nail in the coffin for Corey here for game 1.
Does he top deck the Be Prepared though?
B prep could save him. He didn't have enough ink to move them to the library. That would have been an optimal play. Yep.
And there it is, the Be Prepared. All right, clears the board. But hey, you still got those 2 libraries out that are going to give you 2 lore.
You're going to go to 16 next turn, and he just has a Tipo.
Ugh. Hate to see it. All right, so here we go. Vaughn, he gains 2 lore for his turn. Go to 16 with the 2 libraries out.
He still has the Hades in hand. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're just going to be drawing. Yep.
Yep.
This is what Amethyst does. Ramped up with the blue support of Popsicle, you know?
Yeah,
Oh, and he's got the bell too in hand.
and being at 10 lore for Corey means that as the Vaughn on this side of the board right now,
Yeah.
he can take some time. He can make sure he's not gonna, drop things on the board and threaten another
Be prepared.
right,
Yeah.
and lose out on that advantage. So I like
Honestly,
this. I like this play.
At this point, yeah, I think I would go where what Vaughn's doing is setting up and
And plays
hoping to win next turn.
the Amethyst Bell too. So that's quest for 2. So he's
Corey-
got 3 lore for characters,
Oh,
2
he's
lore
got a
for
sail.
locations.
He's trying to dig his way out, but I don't think he's
Nope.
got enough.
Yeah, and Corey scoops game 1. So Vaughn takes game 1 in the best of 2, and we are on to game 2 here. Great stuff from both players, though, honestly. Love to see it. I was joking earlier, the Sapphire matchup, we get a Hades out, we get another Hades out, the back and forth with it, the ramp.
It's it reminds me of the equivalent of "You can't fire me, I quit." And the Hades, 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 Hades.
Love to see it. Or hate to see it, depending on
This
your
depends.
perspective.
It's just like in the evasive Peter Pan mirror match. It's always who's got the last Peter.
Mhm.
Who's got the last Hades here. And it really, at one point, Vaughn had a higher ink count than Corey. And you're not supposed to do that with red blue.
Separating his discard, I feel you on that one, but as the player, you want to be able to see that information. It's not you're allowed to kind of keep your discard however you want. So what's interesting about Lorcana, and they clarified this, from the team, that you can keep your ink piles separated to know what types of cards are in your inkwell. So yeah, same with the discard. No, you're not. We're investigating right now, but to the best of my knowledge, I think it was okay to have your discard pile in however you wanted to keep it. It just needs to be clearly. Oh, Luminite's saying you can't do that at a DLC. Well, if that's the case, maybe I should have been the rule shark at some DLCs here.
Call some people out.
Well, yeah, definitely Illuminite, but we're investigating on our end to confirm in the official rules. Yeah, I haven't heard any judge calls out there. So far we're having a...
Yeah, it's been pretty smooth on the floor. That being said, I can talk with our head judge to let Corey know that he should keep his discard not so spread out.
Let's confirm first before we try to say something. Because again, to the best of my knowledge, whatever you're choosing to do with your discard pile, you're allowed to. When they say note-taking in the rules, they refer to truly like you writing down things in such a way. Theoretically, you could take notes by putting cards on the board in certain places. Like, when I put something to the left side of my board versus the right side.
Oh, you're counting I see what they're saying, that you're keeping count of your cards?
So you're allowed to know the count of your deck, your discard, your hand, your inkwell. All of that information is universal, so that's not hidden from the
Yeah, I was
players
going to
at
say
all.
discard and deck count is public knowledge in Lorcana,
Yeah.
is it not?
Yep.
I know in some other card games like Yu-Gi-Oh, that isn't entirely true.
But
Enough of the people.
Yeah, so onto the ramp. You know, haven't missed much. Early game in Sapphire is not very exciting, right? You're ramping. Maybe you get the popsicle and bell out.
Like you can't use the dice to figure out how many preps have been used.
Yeah, that does make sense because that is a form of note taking with something outside. But again, all we're doing is placing cards.
You have 2 separate discard pots? Oh.
Yeah, I hear what he's saying, but you know, Genie comes out, gets the extra card in hand, the evasive threat, quest for 2. Corey's not going to have any answers right now for this, so it's likely that Vaughn's going to get 2 lore next turn. And had to ink the McDuck Manor too. You know, I hate to see that because that is a threat later on. Yeah, quest for 1 with the TPO. This happened where I lose sound from them. And I don't know if it's they're just being very quiet. Oh, I actually have it muted.
I think that's on your end.
Oh, I was muted. Yeah, now I'm.
So no strings attached, or strings attached, sorry. Pinocchio comes out and he's got Genie exerted. Vaughn
Yeah, Vaughn quest for 2. Oh, sorry.
takes
Not,
Did Vaughn quest for 2 or did he use that to attack, I thought?
oh, he challenged? Oh, yeah, he took out the TPO. Yep. Sorry, I missed it there as I'm looking at. the
Vaughn's
discard.
setting up to take advantage, or to take control of this game. Out-controlling the control player.
Well, it's that early aggressiveness, right, that you
Oh, yeah.
get out of Amethyst.
It
Things that
looks
quest
like
for 2.
He's got that bell in his hand with the thought of moving that damage over from Genie to whatever he plays. It's probably going to Tala.
But develop your brain. So we'll put 1 card in hand, 1 card at the bottom. And just passes back to Vaughn, right? Because I don't know what else you can really do at this point. So Vaughn inks the bell. Won't move the damage. Uses the Pinocchio to sing. Friends on the other side. Draw some more cards.
Looking at you.
And plays the library. So, and we'll pop the popsicle to play the bell for free, moves the bell to the library and the Pinocchio.
Was that a question?
I do see what Illuminite is saying.
No, Pinocchio was saying the friends.
Having 2 separate discard piles?
Yeah, we're gonna send our head judge over to talk to Corey to make sure that his discard is united.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you see he unfortunately is separating his songs and actions away from his characters, which is very different.
Oh, okay.
I did notice that.
And it does say that in the rules that you can't?
It's definitely less or more deliberate when you're separating your characters from actions, because he has a count in his head. Okay, I've played X number of. Not to say that he's doing it intentionally. It could just be the way that he's used to playing.
I mean,
But
I'd
that-
say after this game, I would want to look into it myself personally a little more
Yeah.
to get confirmation on it.
I fan out my discard when playing, but I don't separate it into 2 different piles. I think that's where the issue lies, because it could be considered as note taking.
I feel like I've even saw people organize their discard though, because you want to be able.
Oh, I don't think you're supposed to do that in any card game.
This one, no, because the discard doesn't matter, but to
Yeah.
separate out, to count, and actually it was for the Maui to be able to look for your actions.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess the way I see it, coming from a Yu-Gi-Oh background, the discard was something that always needed to be in the correct order that things were played in. But there were more cards that access the graveyard. I guess Maui Shark does access the grave, or the discard, so.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so he uses the friends to sing, but that just gave a target to the.
Yeah.
He does put a
That's right.
target on his back, but at the same time, Corey doesn't have much to grab. He has the vision and the how far I'll go, which I think in this state, Vaughn is okay with him ramping a little bit more or digging for something because he's not necessarily going to be able to wipe the board.
What's a number for my location?
Yeah, that was from his last turn, Ink. That was the clarification Vaughn was asking. Yeah, he's got to think, all right, so throws the bell into the grandma to be able to draw the card. And I can't see how much ink Vaughn's at right now because if he's not at 7 quite yet, and he's not going to play, yeah, he hasn't got there. Oh, but another library comes out. He'll move smart, move your characters over to the brand new library out there with no damage on it. Quest for 2, go to 3. Oh, he's at 5 it sounds like. Actually, he must have missed 2 lore at some point.
Well, I thought I missed a Pinocchio quest at one point, but I wasn't sure.
Okay, oh, all right, so Corey's thinking. What's the right order here of operations? Probably a sign of B-Preps on the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's probably going to take out a library.
Yeah.
And he's got, what, 3 cards in hand? That looks. So he's going to ink for turn and.
Oh, yeah, we
They're
got
all
a lot of
going
things going
sideways.
sideways. Oh, no, the
big Sisu, of course.
Okay.
A smaller be prepared, but be prepared nonetheless. Vaughn's going to draw 2 cards, but
Oh, and that's one.
he does have board advantage
Yep.
now. So that does help Corey, but with only 2 cards in his hand, it looks like one of them might be a Maui.
Oh, so
Here
Vaughn
at
will be
all.
at 6 lore now because he was at 5 last turn. Yep, so 6 from the library this turn.
And Corey's at 3.
Yep.
There goes the Elsa. Man, Vaughn's hand is stacked. He has a lot of threats, though Monstro can't take out the Maui Shark.
No.
I don't know if he has any evasive cards that can really deal with that.
Well, this is where Peter Pan Shadow would be nice because your characters with Rush gain evasive, as
Yeah.
opposed to Peter Pan, who gives your characters with evasive Rush.
Right.
Yeah, but we'll play a genie, we'll draw,
Looking
you know.
for an answer here.
He gained 1 from library, yes?
We already gave that. Yep. That's all right.
Sorry, I keep looking. I think I'm getting
I think Vaughn is looking for his Hades. Oh, Into the Unknown. Nice.
Okay.
That worked out great for him off of the popsicle draw.
Yeah, and Into the Unknown, for those, yeah, it's a newer card in the set, right?
Yep.
It's a song that lets you put an exerted card into the player's
inkwell.
inkwell.
Yep.
So a little bit, you know, slightly more conditional than the Let It Go,
Yep.
but at 3 costs, you can sing it with so many cards.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, and then the Maui Hero to All comes out, takes out the library, so no more passive lore for Vaughn.
If I'm Vaughn, I'm feeling great though. That Maui half shark's off the board. I can do more things now. And I believe he's got an Elsa in his hand.
Nope, that's a, yeah, saying,
Definitely see the Hades. Yep, that's going to take care of the big Sisu. So no questing for 3 here. Vaughn's trying to take back control of the board. Meanwhile, Corey has a ton of ink, but he doesn't have a lot in his hand. If I'm Corey, think I'm looking for the B prep.
Yeah,
I think
you're, I
that's
mean,
the
you're gonna
only way
always
out of
want
this.
that, right?
It's you're gonna B prep or a ramp card, I guess. Because right now you're not controlling Fawn's board.
So we'll ink the blue fairy. 2 ink, it looks like he's contemplating, is it gonna be a sail? No, another blue fairy. Or no, is that
That's a song, it looks like?
a new,
Yeah, what is that card?
ice spikes.
Field of Ice? Oh, Ice Spikes, yes.
Yeah, when you play this item, exert chosen opposing character. And then you can exert and pay 1 ink, exert chosen opposing item. It can't ready at the start of the next
Wow.
turn.
Interesting play.
And
by
then
Vaughn.
Monstro
Yeah,
comes
he
out.
forces the Maui to take it out with Monstro. Kind of genius. Can that ready a card too?
Yeah, so Monstro allows you to discard a card and ready him.
It's terrifying.
Well, especially in Amethyst, right?
Right.
Your hand is full of cards
Yeah.
that you'll be
Vaughn
fine to
said,
get
by
rid
all
of.
means. Yeah, oh, this is not looking good for Corey. In this spot, it looks like he's got 3 cards in his hand. And I don't know if he has any answers.
Now, he can dig, right? We're not going to see it here, it looks like. He's going to quest for 1, and that might mean the B prep is
There it
coming.
is. Yep.
Yep, the B prepared.
All right, well. Whew, but now you're left with 2 or 3 cards in hand and not a lot of ink. 3 ink, maybe you can play a Tipo if you have it. No, he's just passing, isn't he? And Vaughn's going in. He said, all right,
Yeah,
deal
I mean,
with these bells.
what are the odds he's got another one in hand, right?
Right.
So you're
It
you're
does
playing.
look like Corey just top decked Hades, though. So if I'm Corey, I'm assuming that's the play. Oh, he's going to dig first. We got another Tala.
Yeah, so we're digging.
Now, Belle is a 4/4, right?
Yeah, what is her body?
I believe she's a 4/4 quest for 2, so he can't Sisu the bell away, and he's not going to super goof to clear the bells. So I think he's setting up so he can sing and ramp, maybe a Pirate's Life to check Vaughn's lore count, but
Yeah, Bell Accomplished Mystic is a 4/4 that quest for 2. So the only thing that's taken it out is the B prep. And Vaughn plays his own Hades, inks his opponent for him. And was that a quest for 4 on Vaughn, it looks
Yes.
like? Yep, so we'll go to 10.
Vaughn is saying, get the B prepared or I'm going to win.
Yep. Vision. So in this instance, right, he's not keeping a separate pile. It's everything is fanned out. It's one pile. A Zazu at this point.
Heart of the cards. Yeah, Corey just needs to say Yu-Gi-Oh! And top deck something. Top deck will be prepared. The Hades does send Hades to the Inkwell, but those bells are netting Vaughn for lore every turn. They go unanswered. Oh, and Vaughn's got that big Elsa.
Yeah, so he goes sideways.
you
Quest
think
for
he's going
4.
to lock them down?
I think so. Yeah, you're going for the jugular at this point, right? Oh no.
He's got
Okay.
another Hades. Truly
And pass the
unreal, the
turn.
match of the Hades.
All right, and that's 6 ink now, right? So unless you can take out one of these cards or all of them, Vaughn's got game 2.
Wow. Yeah, if you're Vaughn, you got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, and there it is.
Excellent
Well-
play by both of them.